Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's proposal for occupying Gaza City has been approved. The decision was handed down by Israel's security cabinet and is the first phase in an offensive which could result in the occupation of the entire Gaza Strip. The news comes as thousands of Palestinians have suffered from malnutrition and mounting evidence of widespread starvation, according to the United Nations, through although Netanyahu denies there is a mass starvation in Gaza.
This latest operation is expected to take multiple months at least and could displace around 1 million Palestinian civilians. U.S. officials say that President Trump has decided not to intervene and instead to let the Israeli government make their own decisions. Netanyahu went on Fox News to discuss the plans. Let's take a look.
We want to liberate ourselves and liberate the people of Gaza from the awful terror of Hamas. Well, we don't want to keep it. We want to have a security perimeter. We don't want to govern it. We don't want to be there as a governing body. We want to hand it over to Arab forces that will govern it properly.
Social media users are sounding off on the plan. Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen writes, quote, Netanyahu's plan to reoccupy Gaza is key to the far right's goal of taking over Gaza and the West Bank and forcing Palestinians out. Meanwhile, Trump is making U.S. a subcontractor in this operation. U.S. taxpayers should not be funding what amounts to ethnic cleansing by another name.
Regime change always goes so well, Lindsay.
it never, you're right. I know that everybody understands that sarcasm. I think like what's being proposed is not just controversial on the world stage, because obviously the opinions of Netanyahu have swayed over the last 2 years dramatically. But I think there's divisiveness even within Israel's own military saying don't do this because, one, if your sole focus is on Israel, then you know that the hostages will be put in an uncomfortable situation according to the military because of this. They don't think this is a good idea. And two, there's no long-term plan to keep this going consistently. And I think those are the two biggest complaints. And then the really big red flag to me is that we heard President Trump describe some Riviera of sorts on the Gaza Strip. And to me, that was one of the most disgusting comments I've heard out of this administration all year. And so to see this start to come to fruition where now Israel wants to go over there and occupy the area to try to have military force when against their own country's will and the people that live there, and also know that Palestinians will continue to be completely displaced and not have an opportunity to rebuild, because we're not talking about Hamas, we're talking about the people that are suffering with malnutrition and everything. I think that this is something that's sending the wrong message, and that's why you have places like Germany saying we're out of this, or places, other countries in Europe that are like, this is insane to us.
Right. I mean, it's one thing to go to war with Hamas. It's another thing to go to war with the civilians of Gaza. And the reality is that they voted for Hamas to be their leadership, and that's not up for Israel to decide or make changes. I mean, should Hamas hold regular elections? Yeah, absolutely, which they don't do, but ultimately, the fate of the Gazan people should be up to the Palestinians. And it is frustrating that American taxpayer dollars are funding the Israeli government, which has been involved in a lot of these decisions that are, one, prolonging the war, and two, causing this real detriment to the Palestinian people, who we've seen all of the evidence of the malnutrition and the starvation and the lack of aid that's getting into those people. And this is an issue that is very much dividing the Republican Party right now.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you, because I know we don't have that much time, but it seems like with Marjorie Taylor Greene being so vocal and so critical, is there a sway in the Republican Party right now about what to do here?
Yes, especially among young people. And we, of course, saw the younger generation shift greatly to the Republican Party in 2024. And they are very much non-interventionist, and they're skeptical of the U.S.'s allyship with Israel and some of the decisions that Israel makes. They don't want to be involved in this conflict, and they don't want taxpayer dollars going to fund this conflict. And that's going to be a huge issue for Trump as he tries to navigate this. And, outside of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie is another one who's been a vocal critic of the admin's policy towards Israel. So I do think that this could be a huge inflection point for the party.
Yeah, history is definitely going to be watching this moment closely now that we're past 2 years into the war. A lot to unpack. A Texas state representative who broke quorum over gerrymandering fight joins us next. Don't miss it.